everybody. Welcome to Elite Weather Forecasting. I'm your Mississippi State student, Dooley Godot, also known as Mr. G, right here on this channel with your weekend weather forecast. It's Thursday night out there, and we are looking at cloudy and wet skies out here across the Twin Cities tonight. You can see Minneapolis in the background there. It's a beautiful night, even though it's cold and cloudy and kind of rainy tonight. You can see the gray, that's the overcast skies tonight, as we have those rain showers out there coming up from the south and southeast, as we have that rather potent and very large storm that's moving across the center of the country right now, and we're on the northern fringe of that. We're not expecting any severe weather or thunderstorms, but we are going to see some nice, cool rain showers, cool temperatures tonight in the 30s and 40s. So a very chilly night as we deal with those rain showers that are currently moving across the Twin Cities right now. Now, here is the forecast for the rest of America. Okay, so as we talk about the forecast for everybody else, we're going to be dealing with that major storm moving across the country right now, mainly over the Midwest right now. We're seeing those showers out there, some snow across the Rockies, and cooler temperatures coming in behind that storm system. Let's take a look at our first map. And we have the live radar right now, and this is where we're seeing some action at this time across the country. And right here in the middle, you can't miss it, that very large storm. And we're seeing a lot of rain across the upper Midwest, parts of the Great Lakes. So the western Great Lakes, and that rain band is extending across the upper Midwest into the Rockies, and we're seeing some snow across the central Rockies as well, up into Utah and through parts of Montana. We're seeing some rain and higher elevation snow. And then we have some more showers down here across the southeast and some thunderstorms there with that subtropical system that brought a lot of rain across the Gulf Coast from South Texas along the Louisiana, Mississippi, and the Florida coast. And now that's all headed on off to the north and east. And you can see all that rainfall over here over the Atlantic. And then we have some more rain showers again. Still more rain across the northeast and into New England tonight. And that's headed off Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. But we'll be seeing those showers across parts of Maine this evening. So here is the satellite for this evening here. There's our big storm across the Midwest that's bringing that area of low pressure. And then we have that those storms and showers down here across the Caribbean and in the state of Florida. And we have that rain up there in the Pacific Northwest. But dry weather out to the western half of the United States, at least the western third of the U.S., from Oregon and Washington down the west coast into Southern California. Beautiful, warmer weather for you folks out there. And let's take a look at our current temperatures. And if you look at the western half of the United States, from the Pacific Northwest up there in Washington and Oregon, and we go down the coast into Southern California, we're seeing beautiful temperatures out there in the 70s and 60s in the Pacific Northwest. And it's still rather warm out here across parts of West Texas. Primarily, we're still seeing those temperatures in the lower to the mid 80s. So we're seeing quite warm out towards the west. Pretty comfortable across the southeastern U.S. So across the Ozarks and down through Alabama and Mississippi, and across Georgia, the southeast, into the mid-Atlantic states, and then across the Ohio Valley and through the Midwest. Very comfortable temperatures there in the 60s, but it's a little bit warmer here across the plains, so we're seeing temperatures in the 70s. So some warm weather still to be had out there, some very nice weather, but it's quite chilly in the Great Lakes and in the interior portions of the Northeast. Temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s, but we're seeing those 50s along the Northeast coast. So along I-95, we're seeing those temperatures in the 50s. But if you're here across the upper Midwest and the northern plains, so I-94 and I-80, you're seeing those temperatures, and I-90, of course, as well, you're seeing those temperatures in the 40s and 50s. So Very cool in the north, quite nice and warm down to the south and across the southern plains. So still very summer-like temperatures in some locations across the country, while we're seeing a fall across the Rockies and the upper Midwest and the northern plains. Here we are to talk about that departure from average from the previous 24 hours. It is the most significant change is here across parts of the eastern Rockies and the high plains. So into Wyoming and Colorado, we're seeing those temperatures where it's as much as 15 degrees cooler from the previous day, and we're seeing it warmer down across the south. We're seeing it up to 5 degrees above what we were over the previous day, because we do have warm air advection that's moving up off of the Gulf Coast into the Midwest and the Great Lakes and into the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic. We're going to eventually see those warmer temperatures make its way to the Northeast out ahead of our advancing storm system. And then after the storm system passes by in the Northeast, then you will see an abrupt change in those warm winds from the south to cool and blustery, colder northwesterly winds and behind that area of low pressure. Now, here we are to talk about your late week forecast for today, tomorrow, or tonight, tomorrow. We are going to be seeing it quite comfortable across the southeast, where we have high pressure in control after our subtropical system brought some much needed rainfall across the southeast. We still can see some scattered showers along the immediate Gulf Coast and across the state of Florida. Comfortable conditions in the northeast as well. But we have our big storm that's moving across the Midwest right now and part of the northern tiers of the country. So from Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, Montana, Colorado, and through the parts of the Rockies. So we're seeing some snow up above 7,000 feet, where we could get as much as 6+ inches of snow in the higher elevations, but we are going to be seeing some much needed rainfall across the upper Midwest. We could see some severe weather right here across the central plains, so through Oklahoma City, Kansas City, not Oklahoma City, you guys are going to be miss out on this one, but Kansas City, through parts of Kansas and into Iowa, Missouri as well. We could see some severe weather for your Friday afternoon. So definitely some severe weather. But then on the backside of that area of low pressure, behind is some cooler air that's filtering in on the backside of the storm. But out further to the west, building high pressure across the Pacific Northwest down to the West Coast and the Southwest to the Mexican border. High pressure is building, so we're going to see warming conditions across the western third of the United States. So from Oregon and Washington down to Southern California will be quite pleasant and nice weather conditions across the southeast for your Friday as well. Now, in the weekend, we're going to see a nice shift in the pattern, but we're going to see troughing in the northeast. We're going to see that strong storm system move out of the Midwest and into the Northeast. So we're going to see rain showers and thunderstorms across the mid-Atlantic states. So if you're here in Virginia, maybe the D.C., North Carolina, and through parts of the Shenandoah and into, maybe we could say, down into maybe from Chicago and Ohio, we're going to see thunderstorms in those regions. Not expecting a big deal of severe, but we'll see some rumbles of thunder and isolated severe storms in that region. However, excuse me, further to the northeast on your weekend here on your Saturday and the Sunday, we're going to see much more in the way of general rainfall, cool, wet conditions across the northeast, but we're going to see blustery conditions on the backside of our deporting storm as we have that jet stream energy. So we're going to see very strong northwesterly winds across Minnesota and the high plains, where we can see gusts up to 40, maybe 50 miles per hour. But nice weather will start to move in across the Intermountain West and the high plains of the West. We're going to see nice weather there and nice weather across the desert Southwest, where it's going to warm up significantly across the Southwest and into California. And then across the state of Texas, finally an appreciable cool down. So that influence of that northerly flow on the backside of our departing storm that's moving across the Northeast, that is going to bring cooler temperatures into parts of Texas, in the deep South, and parts of the Ozarks and the Midwest here, the central and southern plains. We're going to see cool conditions compared to what you've been seeing. We're going to see those temperatures go from those 80s down to the 60s. So it's going to get very nice down across Texas and parts of the South, where you have been very warm and sweltering over the last several months. So finally, an appreciable cool down across the southern United States there. Now we're going to break this down region by region and cover this storm. This big storm is going to be a big deal. Very strong storm for this time of the year. And we're going to be seeing it very chilly up here across the north. So northern Michigan, Wisconsin, through northern Minnesota, North Dakota, going to be very cool, breezy. Going to feel those temperatures in the 30s and 40s. So very breezy and chilly across the north. On the north side of our area of low pressure, here's our center of our storm system moving across the upper Midwest there. We have a warm front that's lifting north, and that warm front is going to be bringing with it some rain and some thunderstorms as well, and we could see some severe storms along that warm front. But we're going to be seeing that rain across much of the Midwest here, Minnesota and Iowa, South Dakota and Nebraska. We're going to see general rain showers. There could be some embedded thunderstorms, but no severe weather expected at this time. But we will see a lot of rainfall and windy as well, because when I was on my way home from work today, it was quite windy as the showers was just beginning to move in. And I dealt with some light drizzle and sprinkles. It was just beginning to start when I came home. And there is that snow we're going to be seeing across the Rockies tonight as well. So snow across the elevation of the Rockies across Colorado and into Utah as well. And here we are as we look at what we're going to be seeing tonight across the Southeast, and we have that front and that storm system. This is not a tropical storm. This is just this is a non-tropical system. There is some tropical moisture involved, but the organization is non-tropical. So we do have a stationary front right here across the state of Florida, and that's going to be bringing some thunderstorms down here to South Florida and some showers and thunderstorms to North Florida and the extreme southeast. But very nice conditions further to the north there in the mid-south and along parts of the western end of the Gulf Coast, where we're going to be seeing it very comfortable with those temperatures in the 60s and 70s. But here across Texas, it's going to be very warm today that we saw those 80s. We still are seeing those temperatures in the 80s. Those temperatures are expected to drop down into the upper 60s to lower 70s tonight. So still a bit of a warm evening because of that warm air being pulled up ahead of that powerful advancing storm system that's moving from west to the east. So it's going to be dragging that warm air from Texas across the southeast as well. Here is a look at what we're going to see for your Friday in relation to that big Midwestern storm. And we're going to see those thunderstorms here across southern Wisconsin, parts of Iowa, as well as northern Illinois. We're going to see those thunderstorms. Some isolated severe is going to be possible right here in our Triple Point region, right in this area here. But we're going to see cool rain showers, rainy and showery weather to the north here across parts of North and South Dakota, central and southern Minnesota, central and northern Wisconsin, Michigan as well. We're going to be seeing those rain showers, but no thunderstorms in that activity. But it will be cool, and we will see some isolated showers across this region. So we're going to see some showery weather here to the west, and that cool weather coming in from the north, and we're going to see that windy weather. Those 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts will be sweeping in behind our storm system as it moves off to the east. So the rain will end, then the wind will begin. So once the rain ends, the wind will begin. Some of you will experience the wind and the rain at the same time, but the more of the wind is going to come at the end of the rain. So here we are as we look at our potent storm as we move into your Friday. Here it is with our storm system across the eastern U.S. And we're going to see those thunderstorms here across the Ohio Valley, down through the Illinois Valley, Iowa, Missouri, and northwestern Arkansas. We're going to see those severe thunderstorms. And then to the north here, we're going to see rain up across northern Indiana, northwestern Ohio, across Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and South Dakota, and Iowa. We're going to see that in northern Iowa, but southeastern Iowa, you can have those strong to severe thunderstorms. And then on the backside of that storm system, here across the high plains, so the high plains of western North Dakota, western South Dakota, eastern Wyoming, eastern Colorado, western Nebraska, western Kansas, western Oklahoma. We're going to see that breezy, those strong winds and that cold air filtering in from the northwest behind that very powerful storm system that's moving across the country. So when the rain ends, the winds begin. So there we go. Just remember that for your day tomorrow as we deal with this disruptive storm. It's going to be a very disruptive storm. So on Saturday, our slow moving storm system, because we have a high amplitude jet stream, so this storm is not going to be moving very fast to exit the country. One of the great things about these deep storms is that they tend to be very slow moving because we have a deep trough followed by a high amplitude ridge on the backside, and that does not promote rapid forward progression. Because of this, it's not it's more like a knot than it is a open band, a stretched out rubber band. So we're gonna have this big slow moving storm to deal with even on Saturday through the Ohio Valley, through states like Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Will be dealing with those severe thunderstorms on your Saturday, and we're going to see those rain showers along our cold front right here. So western Virginia, western North Carolina, western South Carolina, all the way up to southwestern Pennsylvania and eastern Ohio. And in north here, we're going to see some solid rain here across northeastern Pennsylvania and upstate New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and through Boston and Massachusetts. We're going to be seeing that rain and wind moving through that region. And then to the north here, through Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, extreme upstate New York, we're going to be seeing windy conditions in that region. And that wind is going to wrap all the way around the back of our storm. So the backside of our storm through Kentucky, southern Indiana, southern Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin. On Saturday, we'll be dealing with those blustery conditions. It still will be kind of cloudy and blustery and chilly. So it's going to be some of the coldest air that you've experienced so far this year. So definitely slap in the face. It's going to feel kind of brutal out there with those temperatures in the 40s and 30s and 40s. So it's going to be quite nippy. So you might want to bundle up on Saturday, and again on your Saturday evening. That cool, chilly air coming down on the backside of that storm from the northwest those windy conditions as well with some of those rain showers. So it's going to be windy, cold, and wet across the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest Saturday night and into the mid-Atlantic as well. So eastern Pennsylvania, southern New York, the states of Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware. We're going to see wet weather conditions and some thunder is also going to be possible with that heavy rainfall. So again, on your Sunday, that's still going to be dealing with that strong storm, windy as well. So we're going to have rain and wind in the New England states, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. You're going to be dealing with those rain showers, some embedded thunderstorms, high winds, and very much cooler conditions as well. So as that storm slowly departs, heads off sea, and heads on off to the east, those winds and that cooler temperatures will move in rapidly behind the storm, even though the storm itself is slow moving, but those winds will be very fast and powerful, and it will be very chilly. It's going to feel noticeably colder on the backside of the storm system. So we do have to talk about severe weather tonight. So late tonight, Thursday, we're going to have some severe thunderstorms that could produce some tornadoes here across the Plain States. So parts of Missouri, Iowa there. We're going to see Kansas and Nebraska. We can see the potential here for isolated tornadoes, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. So we're going to be seeing some isolated incidents where winds can hit 80 miles per hour with some of those severe thunderstorms. So please be weather aware tonight and later on through the overnight hours. Be weather aware as this is associated with that powerful storm moving across the country right now. We're also going to be seeing a lot of wind, so very windy across the plains from Minnesota all the way down to North Texas. So Texas, Oklahoma, northeastern New Mexico, eastern Colorado, eastern Wyoming, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, South Dakota, Minnesota, western Wisconsin. We can then see winds up to 40 miles per hour and some isolated gusts as high as 70 miles per hour as we deal with that severe storm that's moving across the country right now. Here we're going to deal with some heavy rainfall, and we're going to see that heavy rain here across the central and the northern plains. So southern Minnesota, Wisconsin, down through Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, and Michigan as well. Going to see the potential there for excessive rainfall that could lead to some flooding. So we could pick up to 2 to 4 inches of rain in some of this activity moving across the Midwest tonight and into your night Friday. So a lot of rain from this slow moving storm. A lot of places going to pick up in their rainfall deficits across the upper Midwest tonight. We are actually running well behind in our rainfall totals that we should have for right now. We've had a very dry summer, so this is beneficial rainfall. Just hopefully it's just not too much too fast. All right, so fall foliage. Okay, so I believe here in Minnesota we've already peaked. So a lot of folks have not peaked. If you want to get out there in the Appalachian Mountain Range or in the Adirondacks, unfortunately you've passed the peak. You've passed your peak. So you're just looking at a lot of brown now. But if you're here further to the south, around Washington and south, you're just coming into your peak. So it's kind of patchy. So you're just getting started. You haven't reached the peak for your fall colors yet. And you really have a lot of opportunities here just further to the west through Kentucky, southern Indiana, Illinois there, in Missouri. You still are just coming into your peak to see your fall colors. But unfortunately, up here where I am in Minnesota, that time has come and gone. We're just looking at a whole bunch of brown out there. So that is your weather forecast. My name is Mr. G. I will be back with you tomorrow as we continue to track this big storm, and I will bring you any updates that may happen from this storm as it moves across the country. Thank you for following me tonight. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my TikTok channel and the YouTube channel. All right, guys. Bye-bye.